Doug Karsch, Scott Anderson, Kang behind the glass. Kenny's here as well, answering phones. 248-539-9797. Great to be with you on a Tuesday in Detroit. Sergey night last night, and the Red Wings won. Maybe as important, if not more important. In the meantime, big day today for the Detroit Lions. Mike McDaniel is interviewing as the offensive coordinator. Yesterday we brought it up, and we got quite a bit of discussion on it. And I guess I'm intrigued here a little bit. On a scale of 1 to 10, how big of a deal is this? How much do you want Mike McDaniel? With 10 being, I think next year's future rides on this. It completely replaces Ben Johnson, maybe even an upgrade. Offense is fine. Like it means everything to get Mike McDaniel. 1 being, don't care. I don't really care who the offensive coordinator is. It's pretty much Dan Campbell's offense, and they'll be fine either way because they're super talented. Where are you on that scale from 1 to 10? How important getting Mike McDaniel would be?
I think it would be great if they did. I think it would be great, but do I know? I don't know. I mean, it's introducing somebody else, and I think there's always the risk that it just doesn't work out. It's not a good fit or whatever. But I would think that these guys would know what a fit is, and if they deem that he's a fit and they want to offer him a job, then I would say it becomes like an 8 or a 9, if that's the case. Otherwise, I think generally the position is kind of like, I think it sits at a 6. Like, it's important that you get somebody in here that you trust and can do the job. And if it ends up being another hire like Johnny Morton that didn't work out, that's really unfortunate. And I'm not sure why it didn't work out. I don't know if they pulled the plug too early or if they were too punitive, given what the real problem with the team, which was the offensive line. I'm not sure play calling was ever really the problem with this team, but internally they know what they're doing. They see every day how somebody prepares or how somebody is going to call and things, and if it totally doesn't jive with what the head coach wants, then you got to make a change. So I think it's important that they get somebody who's competent. I do feel that McDaniel seems to fit that bill, but I don't know for certain. So that's why it's not a slam dunk 10.
Yeah, I'm at about a 5 on this one. I think the job is very important. I think there are other guys out there that can do the job. I don't think Mike McDaniel's the only one.
Right.
And I think putting all your eggs in the Mike McDaniel basket's a bit of a mistake. However, the one thing about it that's really intriguing to me is I feel like Detroit fans in this city has a bit of a hole in its football heart right now because of Ben Johnson leaving. And to get a high-profile hire to come in and replace John Morton would be, I think in many people's eyes, would check a box, would fill a void, I guess, left by Ben Johnson. Kang, on a scale 1 to 10, how important do you think it is?
To get Mike McDaniel or get the right
Mike
hire?
McDaniel,
Oof.
specifically.
I would say an 8. I
Ooh.
really want Mike McDaniel. I think the hire is like a 9, important as far as just whoever they hire, because I do think it's important. I think Dan Campbell fired Johnny Morton for a reason. Mm-hmm. They want somebody in there that is going to execute the game plan and the vision he sees for this offense. I don't think Dan Campbell, I think he likes calling plays. I don't think he necessarily wants to call plays. And I personally don't want him calling plays either. So I think this hire is very important. And Mike McDaniel, I think, can not only keep it going, I think he can even unlock a new level we haven't seen. They didn't have the best offensive line in Miami. Achane still would go off. He's the same type of running back Jahmyr Gibbs is. Give him a little bit of space. It's like Barry. You're going to have your losses. You're going to have your 1-yard gains. But you give him that one crease, home run. And that's the type of explosiveness Gibbs has. Achane, the same thing. Tyreek Hill, he's your JMO, right? I think Mike McDaniel could unlock something that we think 30 points a game is a lot. This could be a 34, 35 point per game team.
248-539-9797. Mike McDaniel interviewing with the Lions today. Scale of 1 to 10. How important would this hire be in your estimation? Let's go to Colin and Macomb. Hi, Colin.
Hey, good morning, guys. How are you guys doing today?
What's up?
Hey, so I have him down as a 7 out of 10, and the only reason why he's not higher, like a 9 out of 10, is because he's kind of dealt with a little bit more of mobile quarterbacks, like a Tua I can't remember exactly who the quarterback was for him when he was over with, I believe, the 49ers. And I know at the Browns he had Johnny Manziel. So for him to deal with a non-mobile quarterback, I would really like to see what his scheme would be to fit Jared Goff. But I think Kang hit it right on the head with the bad O-line, but Devon A-Chain still going off for over 100 in countless games. I think that's why his is still a 7 instead of lower.
So, yeah, I mean, he'd have some stuff to prove. And in terms of, but I mean, look, he also would have a quarterback that can make a bunch of throws that Tua couldn't, right? So it would be intriguing to see the balance of, if you're Mike McDaniel or you're looking at the Detroit job, like, I'm fired up because I can call these plays that I couldn't call with Tua, or am I limited because?
And I'm extremely excited for the pre-snap motions. He's a very motion-style OC. He does move a lot of pieces around, which Jared Goff needs to read defenses before the snap. So I think to him bringing that aspect back, like Ben Johnson was very big into motions, I think that's a very big portion to the Jared Goff's game, which I think he could bring a big part to.
When he was in San Francisco, I think it was the Garoppolo years. So 248-539-9797.
So it's interesting with the run game, right? And Gibbs had a great year this year, running and receiving. And Achane had a spectacular year this year, rushing the ball in particular. 11 times this year, Achane had over 5 yards a carry in a game. 11 times. This is surprising when I read this about Jahmyr Gibbs. For Gibbs, it was 5 times all season that he had over 5 yards a carry in a game.
Interesting. And by the way, the Garoppolo, just for people who don't know, not considered a mobile quarterback. No. Considered more of a pocket passer, more like Goff. So he did have success there. 248-539-9797. Joe in Detroit, you're next. Hi, Joe.
Hey, how's it going today, guys?
What's up?
Hey, I want to say I'm kind of perplexed about seeing how much trade talks are going about Monty. I know his utilization's been less this year, but I feel like with the McDaniel hire, I'll probably rate him between like a 6 or a 7 with his in terms of the importance of the franchise. I know Campbell came from the Dolphins, so did Ben Johnson. But the question is like the proven playoff wins, and obviously they see something going on right with our team with wanting to poach Calvin Shepard already with 1 year of experience. I mean, what do you guys think about all that?
I don't know if they're going to try to poach him. I think they're just interviewing him and see how he does in an interview and move on from that point and that they're interviewing for a head coach, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I don't think he's going to get that job.
I don't think he's going to get that job.
But I like that he's getting that kind of experience and at least an acknowledgement. It doesn't change how good or bad he is as a defensive coordinator, but
I would just say it's important for McDaniel to come in because I think the one thing that Montgomery that a lot of people are oversighting is the amount of trick plays that he was really involved in this year. I mean, if you look at the Lions without Johnson, it really seems like Montgomery at quarterback was a really pivotal, go-to, put him in Wildcat and put Goff in the outside and then, surprise them with the receiver that's going to go to. And I think if you trade him away, you really lose a lot of that viability of your offense. I mean, for us, a lot of times in the Chiefs game, even though it was called back, that play was phenomenal. And he's had a lot of plays this year that was phenomenal and consistent. And I can't see another running back really providing something that entertaining and interesting on offense on any other team. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but how many snaps do you think David Montgomery took in Wildcat this year?
Probably 4 or 5. That's being, conservative.
How many do you think he should?
I mean, I don't think he should take probably more than 10 because then it really loses like the gimmick of it. But my point is with having Montgomery on the team and having Gibbs with the runs and the explosive routes and him being able to be very versatile, a more experienced, coordinator in the offense could utilize a player like him. I mean, if we trade away him, we lose the power back in Montgomery that's been consistent.
Well, you can always draft a running back, and if you trade, I've been weighing this in my head if it's the best move to trade Montgomery or not. I like David Montgomery. I know you like David Montgomery too, but are they paying him too much? Does he need to? And like they said, it's the writing's kind of on the wall there when they talk about he needs to be utilized in a different way, and maybe we can't do that for him. Maybe we can find somewhere that can. I don't know what the trade value is for Montgomery. I would imagine it's like a 5th round pick.
Yeah, I don't think it's a lot.
But thinking about the draft, you can find running backs all throughout the draft. I mean, there's 2 running backs from Penn State that are pretty good that you might be able to get in the 4th or 5th round.
If you got a 5th round or 6th round pick for David Montgomery, basically what you're getting is $4 million in cap space.
That's
so
the big part.
you're trying to replace him, and then you're hoping to get probably basically 2 players. One is a replacement for him in the draft, or a lesser paid free agent and feature Gibbs, which Gibbs was already being featured over Montgomery. And 2 is the money goes towards somebody else. I mean, at some point they got to clear some cap space.
Well, they got to clear cap space.
And we talked yesterday about Decker maybe being somebody who would be cut because of the money that it would free up. But then you have to get a tackle. So 248-539-9797. Scale 1 to 10. How big a deal is it to get Mike McDaniel? 97.1.